Good afternoon and welcome to the Croatian Sporting Complex here in Perth's northern suburbs for the penultimate game of the NPL1U men's regular season. It's a massive round 15 fixture between Gwelup, Croatia and Floreat, Athena, with the result of today's game likely to play a major role in calculating the final day narrative next weekend. My name's Tommy Dolman. Thanks for joining us live on the Football West YouTube channel and Facebook pages this afternoon for a clash between two sides firmly in the title race. Floreat and Gwelup finished 1 and 2 after phase 1 of this shortened NPL1U campaign, would have been jumped by Coburn in what is shaping up as a thrilling finish to the season. Gwelup dropped points here last week against ECU, but they are the league's leading scorers overall and are still on the cusp of a remarkable feat given this is their debut NPL1U campaign. For Floreat, they may have finished 2 points clear off today's opponents after phase 1, but they needed their share of luck in the past fortnight with back-to-back late winners from Rob Harding reigniting their second half of the season as they will remain well and truly in the hunt for a first league title since 2007. In the middle this afternoon, it's the experienced refereeing team for this important fixture. David Bruce holds the whistle, and he will be assisted by 2019 State League Referee of the Year Arvin Shanmaganathan and Josh Manella, who has plenty of experience running the line at A-League level as well. Just before we get underway this afternoon, we should mention that this weekend is indeed the Football West Belt Up round. This round is designed to act as a reminder for reinforcing road safety awareness and the importance for drivers and passengers to wear their seatbelts. It is the third year of the Football West Belt Up Bannerd round, and we will have an interview with a member from the partnerships team at the end of the first half. As you can see on your pictures now, it's a really dreary day here in the west. It's really tumbled down in the past hour and a half or so. You just get the feeling it's going to be a real grind. This massive game here as league honours remain up for grabs for both these sides in season 2020. The two best teams after the first phase now find themselves chasing informed Coburn, and with 1 week to play, the race to be crowned NPL1U champion for the first time in this era. The competition is heating up. 3 points is vital. Gwelup get us underway as the rain really does start to tumble here at the Croatian Sporting Complex. Gwelup kicking from the right to left of your stream this afternoon, wearing their traditional home kit, the red jerseys, the white shorts and the blue socks. Floreat Athena also in their home kit as well, the blue and white striped shirts with the blue shorts. As the visitors make early inroads down this left-hand side, Phil Arnold is the one charging forward. Harding was at the back post, and we know what his form's been like in the past couple of weeks, Rob Harding. 2 late winners, of course, against ECU, Gwelup and Armidale in the past 2 games has really given Floreat some wind in their sails going into the last couple of games of the season. They currently sit 2 points above Gwelup, Croatia as a result of those 2 results. They do still trail Coburn by the 1 point today. Coburn incidentally playing against ECU Gwelup, who were currently 3rd in the standings, so first versus 3rd and 2nd versus 4th here this afternoon. And as we said in the preview, today's action should really shape the narrative for the final day of the league season. Here's Sean McManus turning and passing back for Adam Field, releasing pass up the line, was looking for McCarla, but Dennis Gallen is back and has enough time just to hook that one away and clear. You can see in front of you at the moment the ball really is skipping off the surface. Both of these two teams, we know, love to attack and get forward and score goals and very much play on the deck, but it'll be interesting to see whether Taki Nikolaidis and Vas Vujicic have to readjust their tactics potentially as the weather perhaps worsens in this second half. Ambrosio's ball forward. Arnold turns, looks up. He's got Harding ahead of him, who manages to stay on side. Now the linesman's flag does go up on this near side. He did look as though he did take off slightly earlier, but these days the assistant referees are instructed to just let the play develop and see how it progresses. Gwelup trying to play out from the back, nearly short for Governors. Harding was able to intercept. Now Harding will get on the end of it, pass inside, looking for Ambrosio, went to ground, all ball with the challenge, and then as Palmer went to ground on a Mitchelton's challenge, the referee, wasn't so charitable. And in our commentary position at the moment, we really are getting rain-soaked. So what you're seeing on your pictures in front of us is very much not exaggerated. Good to see a good crowd in here at the Croatian Sporting Complex, though, braving the conditions for this massive match. It's a good opportunity for Floreat here from the dead ball. Evans will go. Well, he tried to go over the wall and inside that near post of Campbell's, but it hit McManus off the wall and went out for a corner. First of the afternoon, which Evans, very much the dead ball specialist, will head over and take again. Palmer tried to stoop for the header, then towed towards goal, and last touch was off a Gwelup defender. So consecutive corners for the visitors as they try to ramp up the pressure. No doubt taking plenty of confidence from those two last gasp wins in recent weeks. Evans' floating ball again. Jumping was Fester at the back post. It'll be hooked back over his shoulder by Ambrosio. Palmer now jumping. Liam Murray's on the edge of the area. Still has Evans to the right. Drawing and cross in. And Field will turn into his own net. It's one of the uglier goals you'll see this weekend, but it doesn't matter to the visitors. A potentially massive one early on as this title race shapes up. And it's Gwelup 0, Floreat Athena 1. So what an unfortunate moment that was for the home side. Weight of pressure from several balls into the box was telling, and Evans' low skidding ball at Field tried to slide in and just divert that away from goal, and in the end it bundled its way in past a despairing Campbell and in off the post. And assuming that there's no score between Coburn and ECU this early into the game, that result does put Floreat to the top of the league as things stand. But of course, do bear in mind that I'm not aware of the action elsewhere yet, as Samson clips one through. John Steins will get on the end of it, elected to take his shot early and got that one completely wrong, did Steins. Former Floreat Athena player, of course, very much a goal-scoring midfielder, and their cup hero against Coburn City in 2016. 8 goals in 11 games this season for John Steins, and scored that stunning volley which I saw live a couple of weeks back at Sorrento. Former Floreat man, very much showing his best Shaolin soccer impression with that acrobatic volley. No dice on this occasion though. Arnold's flick on was looking for Harding. Sampson will complete the clearance. Now McKeche will get his first touch of the game. That's a smart pass to bring Mitchelton forward, the fullback who's back in the team this week after a 2-month suspension. Oh, 2 weeks suspension, sorry. Done Sam a disservice there. His pass goes back to Sampson. Cross was kind of charged down, and now Floreat can launch forward on the break once more if Arnold can look up, turn, and he was fouled by a retreating McCalla, who was desperate in his attempts to win the ball back. Rain has thankfully let up for the moment here in Perth's northern suburbs. We've had clear conditions all morning, really, and then the showers were forecasted for the bulk of this afternoon. And the BOM has very much got that one right this afternoon. Hopefully we can hold out for as long as we can across the remainder of the 90 minutes as Floreat have a player down inside their own half, Andrew Palmer. These two teams very much the dominant sides of the first phase of the competition. Just 2 defeats in 11 for Floreat as they finished 2 points clear of Gwelup. They did have an off day here back in round 5 though when they lost 3-0. It was one of their 2 defeats for the season, and then that defeat against Sorrento at the start of the second phase looked to potentially derail their season at the bookends of each phase. As we mentioned just before, late Harding goals have really boosted their hopes of claiming a first league title since 2007. Now Palmer is off the ground. Looks like he's got a little bit of blood coming out of his mouth, so he'll come off temporarily. The visitors will have to defend with 10 men. Does look as though Palmer's going to be okay to continue very shortly, though. As Pitsass's clearance goes up and out for a visitor's throw-in. We'll be quite happy to have the ball at this end of the ground while they are a man down. Now possession turned over. Hargreaves forward for Mikeche. Last touch off Gallen. It'll be a home side throw-in. Now linesman will just double-check Palmer in front of us. And he's satisfied that the claret has been cleared. Both teams are restored to their full quotas. Gwelup had that credible draw against 2019 runners-up Inglewood here, and then 5 straight wins really had the tongues wagging across the NPL1U. They did have a few injuries, though, had a 3-game winless run, and now they've picked up again in this second part of the campaign as Arnold's ball releases. Ambrosio Campbell was out smothering really well. That's really good goalkeeping from Connor Campbell, who was off his line smartly and diving on top of the ball as Ambrosio tried to get a toe to it. And just to finish on Gwelup, they were back to their ruthless best way at Sorrento 2 games ago, a 5-0 win where Dumba Mikeche scored a hat-trick, and then that 1-1 draw here last week against ECU. It's just put them behind the 8 ball slightly, but a win today against their opponents and some possible drop points for Coburn elsewhere way just keep them really in touch going into the final game of the campaign next weekend. Now here's Palmer, skipping past 2 challengers, looking for Arnold to his outside. Evans clips ball in's a dangerous one, and it was just over the head of Harding. Those 2 goals by Rob Harding, so well taken in clutch time of the game. Ex-Subi youngster who really announced himself with 13 goals in 12 under-20s games last season. It earned him some cameo minutes in the State Cup final and some minutes and NPL level as well. Just the 2 NPL1U goals last season, and he's definitely making an impact this season. Good to see these youngsters getting an opportunity and delivering the goods for these big sides like Floreat as Makala turns, looks inside, touch off a Floreat defender. Shongo's pass will go all the way back to Saldaris, and those clearances are going to be a little bit tricky this afternoon off the wet pitch, you suspect. Field will put pressure on Palmer, who stepped in and got his foot to the ball. Hargreaves is clip into the middle. He'll go back in for seconds and try and win the ball back. It breaks to Mitchinson, whose touch was a little casual, and that allowed two players to really slide in with force there, in Rob Harding and a retreating Blair Govan. It looked as though that was two players honestly sliding in, going for the ball. Those challenges are difficult on this surface. Now David Bruce has shown Rob Harding the yellow card. A judge that the Athena player was a little late to that challenge. A few of the visiting fans to my right weren't happy with that decision. I must admit it did look a little harsh from the angle that I was at anyway. Seemed as though two players were just sliding in for the ball, honestly. Never mind anyway, it'll be a Gwelup free kick. Still, David Bruce has a couple of words with Gwelup skipper Govan, who's up and back on his feet, and no problems in continuing. Plenty of players in the box here. Govan's floating ball over the head of Field. Who did that come off last? It came off a Floreat player and out for a corner, and now this rain returns again. I'm pretty happy I bought a rain jacket this afternoon personally. Who said commentary was a glamorous job, eh? Anyway, McCall's corner to the penalty spot. Steins went up for the header. It'll come back to McCall once more, who's trying to make a yard. Dangerous ball in. Govan got his head to it. Field leaps, still alive, and in the end it bubbled its way through to Saldaris. This makes for a real chaotic period of this game. Rain coming from behind your broadcast position. And extremely heavily at that as well, as Floreat win the free kick. And this will be in a good position for Athena once more. Evans' free kick, low, skidding. Deflected away. And now Shongo will slide in, and he'll go back in for seconds with Steins. Ball up the line for McCalla, who miskicked. And as you can see, the conditions down there are just as difficult for the players as they are for us in the commentary position. So much for spring. Here's Pitsatter. Once a Perth Glory youth and Perth Soccer Club regular over the years. Joined Gwelup this season from the Azuri after just 13 appearances for the defending champions last season. Hefty challenge between Ambrosio and McManus. Ball nearly broke for Arnold. Last touch there was off field. And behind we go for a corner. I should say that apologies if there are any technical difficulties throughout the first half of this game as the rain and wind do pick up here. Evans' corner, dangerous looking ball. Campbell with a really good punch given the conditions. First to the ball will be George Fester, who'll just try and wrap his foot around the ball and hook into a dangerous area, but the wind grabbed that one and out it went for a goal kick. Goal kick taken by Connor Campbell, number one stopper at the club for the past few seasons. Floreat, Sterling and Sorrento among his former sides. The 3 clean sheets in 2020, but plenty of big moments along the way to keep the likes of Venus and Nickel in bay in particular with a couple of clutch late saves. Steins hooking around, Sampson. Toe came in there from Ben Steele. Now John Steins again, coming inside, looking to weave his way into a pocket of space. All a little bit scrappy on this near side of the pitch, and David Bruce decides that the challenge from Arnold was late. As the rain just holds up again temporarily for the moment. Some of the supporters who did hide for cover during that shower are now making their way back out towards us here in the commentary position. As Hargreaves' ball is a nice one to the penalty spot, and that was Govan, I think, who leaped highest and got ahead to it. Never troubling Saudaris' goal, though. Joint Golden Glove winner last year, Jason Saudaris with Alex Dunn. 5 clean sheets in 2020. Athena are without a shutout since the round 9 game away at Inglewood that they won 2-0 though. Arnold, pass inside, cut out by Sampson. Clearance was into Arnold. Last touch was off the veteran and out for a goal kick. So, as the showers die down and the wind picks up, Gwelup Croatia 0, Floreat Athena 1. Adam Field's own goal in the first 10 minutes, separating the teams at the moment. Home team yet to really test Jason Saudaris' goal just yet. As the ball skips through all the way to Saudaris, who took his time and in the end dived on it. Under close attention from Makala. Foul going the way of the home team here. On halfway. Taken quickly to Hargreaves, who looks forward for Mikeche. There was a slight shove in the back of the Gwelup forward. And this will present the home team with an opportunity to possibly get a first shot on target. little bit of sun just coming out temporarily behind us. That wind still swirling though, and conditions not quite perfect just yet. It'll be Steins over this free kick, looping over the wall, and it had Saldaris flying for a minute, but the goalkeeper was watching that one over pretty comfortably in the end, despite the flailing arms. It really has been a remarkable rise for Gwelup. 4 league titles in 5 years, competing in their first NPL WA campaign. In fact, they've only suffered 10 defeats since they were promoted from the Amateurs to Division 2 in 2017. In the league, that is. As Murray's ball looks left for Arnold, he'll try and get the better of Pitsata, who slid in. Cross was dangerous and behind Ambrosio. And Gwelup should clear up here through Hargreaves, and now John Steins. Makala, crowded out by 3 Floreat players, did really well. And now John Steins is down the left. Gwelup looking to counter in swift fashion. Samson's ball is wide for McManus, who'll take a touch. Inside, outside, striking just wide, and I think it was deflected off Floreat legs, and behind for a corner it was. So Gwelup showing that pace that we've seen so often this season. The likes of Makala and John Steins and Mikeche all involved. McManus a shot behind for a corner, which is taken by Makala. Attacking it was McManus. Shouts for handball in there. No chance of us, or likely your view of the camera, seeing that. Steals clearance, ricochets off Harding. Evans did well to bring it under control. Now Floreat will try and launch an attack down the right through Steele. Did well to maintain possession there. Did the visitors. Govan gets his head to the ball forward. Hargreaves' touch was a little heavy, and that allowed Arnold to slip in. Clip was looking for Harding. He was the only player that he really had in the area to aim for. And in the end, Gwelup's defence were able to cut out, and now they can launch the counter-attack as Mikeche turns for Makala. Stepping in, though, well, was the ever-reliable Gallen, who looks up. Liam Murray to his left. Evans tried to play the 1-2, but Murray slipped over on that left-hand side of the pitch. Evans did really well, though, to keep it alive, and then David Bruce spotted an infringement. Very much 2 teams here today that do have the ethnic background in terms of local football in WA. Really good to see the character that does add to the league. And Gwelup, Croatia, very much a team formed by Croatian immigrants, as you can probably tell by their name, while Floreat Athena were a club founded by Greek heritage. Athena very much one of the powerhouses, while Gwelup very much the newcomers, but both of these teams have made an equal splash in the NPL WA in season 2020. So a moment ago, Steele went into the book for a pullback on John Steins as he tried to break away, and Gwelup have a very central free kick here, which will be taken by Hargreaves. It's clipped towards Govan dangerously. Nearly broke from McManus. It did. The strike was rising over Saldaris' bar. Goalkeeper would have had that one covered, I suspect, had it been a little lower, but nevertheless, Floreat unable to clear their lines on that occasion. Two coaches in the dugouts this afternoon, very much at the opposite ends of their head coaching careers. Taki Nicolaitis, third season with Gwelup, but also former Floreat, Englewood and Perth coach, very experienced. Also a very popular former Floreat Athena player as well during their successful spell in the mid-2000s. And Vas Vucic started the season as assistant Ante Kovacevic, but stepped in when the former Perth Glory defender Kovacevic departed to Western United of the A-League to be their GM. He's done a really good job since as well, just 2 losses in his 11 games since taking over from Kovacevic. And he'll be pretty happy with how the first half of this game has gone so far. Gwelup Croatia 0, Floreat Athena 1. Early own goal from Adam Field. Very unfortunate. Almost bobbled its way in off the inside of the post, past Connor Campbell, who was stranded and helpless. Visitors will come forward again, sliding in with Steins, won the ball. Harding did well to keep possession. Palmer's clip, cut out by McCarla, all very scrappy as you'd perhaps expect on a day like today, but Gwelup emerge with the ball. Eventually through Pitsata, who clears up the line. Last touch was off Liam Murray, and it'll be a Floreat throw. Sampson, pass inside's a smart one from McCarla. Strike was sliced off the outside of the boot and wide of Saudaris' goal. Just a few encouraging signs for the home side in past 5 minutes or so. A McManus shot, which obviously went behind for a corner. And McManus striking over Saudaris' bar, and then that little opening for McCarla as well. After what was a very good start from Floreat. This game really being played to a good standard despite the conditions, as you'd expect from arguably 2 of the best teams in this competition this season, as Mitchinson looks up, tries to spot the chest of McKeche. It was a little high. Floreat can turn now through Ambrosio. Arnold, who's preferred today over Noah Shamaki, who's on the bench. Arnold. Ambrosio. Sliding ball was looking for the run of Murray, who's back in the team this week, having missed the last 2 games. Field looks up. Cut out by Evans. Now Fester. Raking pass forward, looking for Arnold. Reeled in by McManus, and now Field will try and just gain some territory. And wins the throw-in. Adam Field, unfortunate scorer of that own goal, but has really made that right back position his own, having had to wait for his chance earlier in the season. Has started the last 6 games though. Has the former Balcatta player and was fit to start after coming off against ECU last week with injury as Murray drives down this left-hand side. Stood up by Pitsatter now. Looks up, wants to get onto that right foot, does Liam Murray. Retreats back for Shongo, whose cross is very deep, and Campbell was backpedaling for a minute. No doubt hoping that the ball was going to drop on top of the net and under his crossbar. And as you can see in your picture, you can still see the ball is sat on top of the net. Sure, that'll be dealt with once that goal kick is taken. Govern's header up in the air. Mitchinson forward. Palmer's pass looked for the run of Arnold. Clearance only as far as Ambrosio. Went to ground. Did sound like there was contact from Mitchinson on the Floreat midfielder. And they will have a set piece. Similar position to where Evans had the first one of the game. So he has had a little bit of practice from this spot. Now, as you can see in the goal, that ball is still there. Plenty of players forward for Floreat here. Vesta, Arnold, all forward, but Evans' a set piece didn't beat the first man. Luckily for them, it bounced out and went behind for a corner. Evans on dead ball duties again. Floating ball deep to the back post. In fact, it's over everyone's head. Ambrosio should get there first, but actually he did, but the line beat him to the ball. Gwelup substitutes just warming up down in front of us to the right. Hassani Sinclair, American striker. Back from a hamstring injury, fit enough to take a place on the bench, and he'll be a big boost for Gwelup in these final couple of games, as they look to keep their title hopes and top four cup hopes alive as well. Arnold's flick, Pitsas's clearance. Take two over on that far side for Floreat. Shongo. Murray. Ambrosio. Murray again. Cleared by Pitsasa upfield. Mkeche will try and hold off Gallen. Last touch was off the Gwelup player, and visitors will get another throw in. A good crowd in here, despite the conditions for Gwelup's second last home game of the regular season. They do finish with a home game against Armidale next weekend, a replay of the 2018 State Cup final. Floreat, meanwhile, hosts Coburn, so that could also shape up as a massive game. As Shongo's ball in will land at the feet of Murray. That was good strength by Hargreaves to bustle the youngster off the ball, and now Gwelup can counter through. Johnstown's down this left-hand side. He's got Mitchinson joining him in attack. McCalla arriving into the area, and Steele dived in and got the clearance behind for a corner. Youngster Ben Steele, signed from Stirling's under-18s setup. One of the lively players in Floreat's very young night series team. Team that was depleted due to the wedding of Dean Evans in pre-season. McCall's corner cleared away by the aforementioned Steele. And now Pitsasa and Harding go into a meaty challenge together. The last touch was off the Floreat body and out for a throw-in. Fields ball in, deep to the back post. Steele had to get ahead on it. Clearance was partially away from Ambrosio. Gwelup looking to crank up the pressure and find a leveller here in this first half. Hargreaves, time to look up, assess his options. Deep ball to the back post. It'll run over everyone though, and away for a goal kick. Saudaris' clearance clearly held up in the wind there, as you could see. Sampson's pass, wide for McManus. Looks up, had Field on his outside overlapping. Dangerous ball in, was looking for Steins. It may yet come back to McManus, who looks up, whips one in again. Evans clears this time. Good spell here for the home side. Can they profit on it? Sampson winning the throw-in off Evans. Shongo's clearance upfield, pulled down by Arnold. Dangerous ball over the top, will run through to Rob Harding, who's been informed lately. He's curling, deflected, and that took the sting out of young Rob Harding's shot. Good retreating defence from Gwelup there to get the challenge in, and then the header forward off Mikeche will land in the grateful arms of Saudaris. Got a real glimpse of both the breeze and Rob Harding's pace there. Foul goes the way of Gwelup here in the challenge between Ambrosio and Sampson. David Bruce will just give Declan Hargreaves a little talking to. Looks as though Blair Govern's also just double checking what the decision was for. Fester's ball forward. Arnold tries to bring down, does superbly actually, to get that awkward ball under control. Now Murray. Really good defending from Gwelup, who forced him to retreat. And now ball comes back forward for Evans, who'll look for Shongo on the overlap. Tries to dance his way past McManus and Sampson. The last touch was off Shongo, supposedly. Forward from Govan. Steals header. Evans's turn around the corner. Ambrosio went to ground, thought he'd won the free kick and then stuck out a hand inadvertently, and now Hargreaves' free kick was quickly taken and released for Steins, who looks up. He had Sampson on the edge of the area, but the pass was a little heavy. Looks up now, puts the ball in. Mikeche lurking. Gallen with a strong head. Hargreaves with a volley. And that was deflected behind off Gallen for a corner. Another former Floreat midfielder, Declan Hargreaves, arriving on the edge of the area. Had a free look at it. And Gallen was in the right spot at the right time to deflect behind for a corner. Mitchinson's corner. Saldaris with the punch. Just skipped away from field slightly. And now Ambrosio's ball will release Harding. Now he's got Pitsata one-on-one here. Support now arriving through. Palmer, the ball was behind him. It'll run through for Ambrosio. Now the cross. Pitsata's header away. Evans forward. And then side-footed clear by Field. A little bit desperate there from Gwelup, but effective nevertheless. Turn around a corner from Murray. No one was on the same wavelength. Home team will come away with the ball. McKeche's chest. McManus has passed forward. Shongo will try to keep that alive. Couldn't quite do so. Former Inglewood and Stirling youngster was Nelson Shongo. McKeche's cross. Diving on that one was Saldaris with grateful hands, and visiting fans to my right just urging goalkeeper to just hold on to it. Take a bit of the sting out of the game. Gwelup very much on the attack and Floreat very much on the counter in recent times. Ambrosio looks up, has a go. Miscued that one wide of the mark. David Bruce will halt play for a moment. Player down behind the play is Phil Arnold. Physio will be waved on. So very much the final stages of this first half. Has been a lively one. Not the most flamboyant and fluid football that we've seen from both of these teams so far this season, but perfectly understandable given the conditions. Arnold back to his feet. Campbell will restart us with a goal kick. Campbell's clearing goal kick. McCalla may just latch onto it. Steele tried to get a foot in. Did just enough there. Mkeche will keep this one alive. He'll look to whip in. Left-footed. Last touch off Palmer. Gwelup set piece to end the first half. Could well be the last opportunity of the first 45. Hargreaves takes short to Mitchinson. Plays still forward here. Low ball in. Cleared by Ambrosio. Sampson will bring under control. Very nicely, actually. Here he is again, turning on the edge of the area. Tried to get the shot off. Deflected off Evans, I think it was, the skipper. Gwelup will have consecutive set pieces in the dying embers of this first half. Field and Govan both up from the back. That one's into the near post. Steins. Hard work to wrap his head around that one. And that might just about do us for the first half. Steele did well to win the header. Now clips forward. Pitsasa will watch that one through for Campbell. And David Bruce has seen enough for the first half, blows the whistle to bring to an end an entertaining first half. Gwelup 0, Floreat 1. Adam Field's own goal inside 10 minutes. The difference so far, a real bundling effort from a couple of consecutive Evans crosses in what was a really wet and windy first period of the game. Floreat's best attempt to double their lead came through a deflected effort from Rob Harding, but Gwelup haven't been without their chances either. Sean McManus has had the best two for the home side, arguably. A shot that was deflected behind for a corner and a rising shot over Jason Saldaris' goal. Big 3 points here up for grabs in the penultimate round of the NPL WA League season. Gwelup 0, Floreat 1. Back with the second half shortly. and Elle Sinclair to discuss the concept of Belt Up Round in more detail. So thanks for joining us here this afternoon. Tell us firstly about the Belt Up Round.
So Football West and the Insurance Commission are really excited to be out and about at clubs this weekend for Belt Up Round. We're here to raise awareness of a really important issue with the football community. It's simple: wear your seatbelt and don't forget to belt up.
And why is this message so important?
Well, did you know that in 2019, 95 people were killed or seriously injured on WA roads who weren't wearing seatbelt, and males aged 15 to 34 years old continue to be overrepresented in serious and catastrophic car crashes every year.
So how else do Football West and the Insurance Commission share the Belt Up message?
Well, earlier this year we had our very first NAIDOC ball design competition, so keep an eye out for the winning design at this year's NAIDOC Week celebrations in November. The Insurance Commission also kindly gives away 2,000 Belt Up branded balls to clubs across the state. And recently, Blake Diggin from Peel United has supported this important message by telling us his story when his seatbelt saved his life.
So finally, what is the message to drivers around WA?
We'd much rather see you playing on the pitch and supporting from the stands than injured in a crash. So stay safe, look after each other on the roads and make sure you belt up.
It's certainly an important message that should be acknowledged at all times, but one which resonates that little bit more on a day like today where the roads are a little more slippery. Jackie L, thanks for joining us this afternoon on the coverage. And we're just in time for kick-off here in the second half. Gwelup Croatia 0, Floreat Athena 1. Now there is a double change for the home team going into the second period, as we do have a false start to this second period. Now we're underway. I'll bring you those changes in a moment or two as we just see how Floreat's kickoff pans out. Little Rabona spread through from Arnold there, nearly broke the way of Ambrosio, and then sliding in there was John Steins on steal. And the visitors get a set piece. So coming on at half time, Kieran Salinger and the American striker Hazani Sinclair, after several games out with injury. I can tell you that Adam Field is the player that has come off for Kieran Salinger. We'll bring you the second change shortly. Ball was floated in, headed away by Salinger and Sinclair, so the two substitutes getting involved in the game nice and early. McCarla's little touch only as far as Evans. Govan. McManus looks up. Shongo got the foot in, and then after having a think about it, David Bruce decided to give the home team a free kick. That second change was Declan Hargreaves off and Hazani Sinclair on, so very much an attacking lineup. Should see Shubham McCarla just drop into midfield next to Josh Sampson, I suspect, as Govan wins the head and McKeche's in the area. Sinclair's lurking, and Saudaris was off his line sharply to gather. Early threat from the home side in this second half. Both of these teams have been very good in these cutthroat matches in recent times. Not quite do or day today, of course, but very much a game with a lot riding on it and a lot of pressure to it. Floreat, of course, winning 2 state cups in the NPL era, representing WA really well on the national stage as well, with their 2 round of 32 appearances against Adelaide City and Melbourne City of the A-League. Gwelup Croatia, meanwhile, had pretty good runs in the State Cup themselves. They got to that final against Armidale in 2018, last 4 in 2015, and last 8 in 2017 as well. So both of these teams certainly not scared of the big occasion, as Gwelup look to try and just recycle a little bit of possession in their defensive half. Risky pass to Pitsata, which was cleared away. Now Murray will eventually arrive with the ball at his feet. Shongo was up supporting him. He left it to the former Perth Glory youngster, Liam Murray. Chongo. Murray again. Nice football from Floreat. Arnold looks up. Palmer. Patient stuff. Stepping in was Sampson, who had enough of that nice passage of play, and then coming in strongly was Gallen to win the ball, and then McManus with a desperate lunge to try and win possession back. Players sliding everywhere in these greasy conditions. Pitt Satters header away, it'll break to Ambrosio, and Salinger was in the way and deflecting behind for a corner. In fact, it was Govan who was down and doing the dirty work. Blair Govan, one of several returning players from the NPL in Victoria. Spent time at Hume City and Oakley Cannons last year. Made a big impact this campaign as skipper as set piece comes in. Campbell was diving at that one. Not sure if it was he or one of his fellow defenders that got the clearance away, but it was good enough to get Gwelup upfield, and now they'll break forward through Mikeche, who's driving into the area, tried to get the cross in, but Gallen was excellent once more in defence. Dennis Gallen's had a great game at the back for Athena this afternoon. He's been in the right place so regularly. And he was blocking that Mikeche cross behind for a corner. In swinger, which will be taken by Makala. Dangerous one. Saudaris came, punched away. It'll only be punched as far as Sinclair, who comes back in with a second ball, and that strong goalkeeping from Saudaris. Very confident, off his line early. And then the early release was looking for Harding, nearly found him as well. Cool play there from Salinger, former ECU Joondalup and Perth Glory youngster. Makala. Clipped ball was a good-looking one. It will come back to Mikeche and got the volley completely wrong to the former Perth Glory and Penang FC striker. Also had a spell with South Melbourne as well, did Dumba Mikeche. Hat-trick hero 2 games ago against Sorrento over at Percy Doyle Reserve. Equal third in the Golden Boot race as well, behind Cameron Teese, Danny Hodgson. Steins, ball forward, crucial toe from Gallen once again, and coming in claiming bravely once more was Saudaris. The visitors who are still clinging on to that early goal. Own goal scored by Adam Field inside the first 10 minutes. It's what separates the teams thus far. Ambrosio tried to get his body in between Ball and Josh Sampson. Judged to have been a little heavy in the challenge, and Gwelup will come up with possession again. Evans looks up. Arnold into the feet of Murray. Return for Palmer is driven and finding the corner of the net. A vital goal for Andrew Palmer here at the Croatian Sporting Complex. Puts Floreat Athena 2 to the good. And they're going to be mighty hard to catch now. Gwelup 0, Floreat 2. Goal in each half for Floreat. Has them 2 to the good. here at Gwelup. And they're currently leading the league as well, with Coburn and ECU drawing 0-0 as it stood at half-time. I'll try and bring you an update later in the second half when we get a moment. This is a massive 3 points potentially for Athena. Late winners in their past 2 games, but very much getting the business done early in each half here as McManus's ball will look to release John Steins. Gets there first. Clip in looking for McKetche. Did he get a boot to it? May yet break for McManus, who looked back for Sinclair, and stepping in brilliantly was Palmer. Doing it at both ends there, Andrew Palmer, and then the ball just got away from McManus. And down in the 6-yard box are Jason Saudaris and Dumba McKetche. No doubt coming together in quite heavy fashion as McKetche tried to get on the end of that pull back from Steins. A couple of the players beneath us just coming to the touch line to refuel. Incidentally, the other game in the upper tier of the NPL1U second phase of the competition was Armidale 4, Sorrento 1. So pretty remarkable scoreline there at Alfred Skeet Reserve. Just got a couple of minutes to update you on what's going on elsewhere while the players get some attention. So Sorrento have pulled one back at Armidale. They're 4-2 behind now. A win much needed for them if they are to keep their top 4 and title hopes alive. And the other big result from around the grounds is Coburn City 0, ECU Joondalup 2. 2 goals at the start of the second half there at Dalmatinak Park. And as it stands on the live league table, Floreat Athena are 2 points clear going into the final day of the season. And they're looking for more here as Evans looks up, comes inside for Murray. Ambrosio, ball comes to him eventually after a little bit of a lucky break, and his curler was straight into the grateful arms of Campbell. Makala try to bring it down. Evans was back clearing, and then the header from Salinger was into touch. So Floreat looking real good here, and if they can keep a first clean sheet since August 22, they'll be taking home the 3 points this afternoon. On the march here again, Harding's ball in, headed away by Govan. Out for a throw-in. Don't discount the host just yet, though. Unbeaten in 7 games at home in season 2020. A little bit of work to do if they are to turn that around. And they have scored in every single game in the NPL1U's first 14 games to date. And with the likes of Dumba McKetche, Hazani Sinclair, John Steins, you can be sure that chances may fall their way as the second half proceeds, but Floreat very much on the front foot for the time being. As Noah Shamaki and Ludovic Boy go to warm up for the visitors beneath us, and Gwelup win a set piece. Governs ball forward. Saudaris comes, claims confidently. And then the early release was well wide of Arnold. Not sure Usain Bolt would have kept that one in the field of play. Evans. Arnold. Harding. Arnold. Ambrosio. Arnold again. Nice passing football from Floreat. A steal finds Ambrosio. Into Arnold. Palmer. Clip over the top. Looks for the run of Harding. Looks a little heavy from here, and that's how it panned out, but it's lovely football from Floreat in midfield there.
Stay left. Phil, lead it. Big. Cover big.
Samson stepping in, winning the free kick. Much to the disagreement of Ambrosio.
Nelson, we're on.
Home team pushing here. One goal would stay up a real grandstand finish as Festa misread the ball slightly. Did get ahead to it. Now Mikeche will pull back. McManus left-footed, sliding in. Great challenge from Shongo, who affected the block. Still they come, the home team. Makala drifts by Evans, looks to break into the area, left-footed cross, and he just lost his footing as he tried to pull that one back, did Shubham Makala. One of the form players of the second phase of the competition is Shubham Makala. Barely missed a game in the past few years, actually. 23 and 24 appearances, respectively, for Balcatta the past 2 seasons. 3 goals in total this season, 2 of those in the second phase of the campaign. Opening goal last weekend against ECU Gwelup. Pegged back in that game by a header from substitute Harry Evans. Evans looks up. Now Harding's onside here, I think, if he can stay alive, and trying to just loop it over the head of Govan to take him out of the game, and his touch was just a touch heavy.
Stay left, Buzz. Get it, Cheese. Stay left.
Ball forward from Pitsata. Gallen heads clear, helped on by Palmer. Murray just lost close control of the ball there. Now Gwelup will try and play out from the back. Pass from Makala was nearly short, made to work though, and now Evans can turn on the edge of the area and strike. Good block from Govan there, who hung out a leg and afflected the block, and then Ambrosio with a swivelling volley from about 25 yards. Got under it. Floreat's defence holding firm so far. League's second best defence, 17 goals conceded in their 14 games thus far. Only Coburn have a better record this season. Pitsata wide. Salinger, half-time substitute, looks to link up with his fellow right-sided player, McManus. Shongo shields out for a goal kick.
Nelson.
So just the 2 competitive meetings as well between these two sides before this afternoon's game. And both of them were won by Gwelup. His teams played here back in round 5. 2 goals from Hazani Sinclair and penalty from Daniel Steins gave them a 3-0 win that afternoon. Very much a different story this time round. Arnold will chase the long ball forward. Murray will clip one in, aim towards the back post. Clearance is only as far as Evans, so he'll help it back in. It's a little too close to Campbell, though. The other senior meeting between these two teams was in the 2018 State Cup 1 that Gwelup had when they got to the final. There was a 4-3 win in the semi-final. Benny Kuakau scoring a brace on that day. Victor Browner and David Hegney getting the goals as well. Floreat did beat Gwelup in the night series this year, though, by 4 goals to 2.
Pick him up, pick up Steins. You've got to have seen that.
Salinger's throw went into the area, but David Bruce was on the whistle. Spotted something going on in there. Something which I missed, but a conversation will be had with Ben Steele. Very crowded penalty area. Govan forward from the back. Sinclair and McKechnie also in the mix. It'll be Govan who leaps. Steele with a really good header away. Salinger will try and put in the cross, and that one was charged down by Harding and behind for a corner. We've had quite a few of these this afternoon, Gwelup. McManus's drive after the half clearance from Athena was their closest call, and this one's a deep ball for Sinclair, and he got his head to it, but Saudaris had that post well covered. And then the distribution by hand was excellent for Evans, who looks up and tries to pick out the run of Harding. Campbell claimed, though, and was off his goal and off his line really quickly.
Phil, slide.
Salinger's ball forward. McKechnie and Gallen battling for possession, the 2 number 11s. Clip in from McKechnie. Steins will get to the ball first at the back post. Has Mitchinson running outside of him. Steins will come inside and drive instead, and that was skewed off the outside of the boot. And that'll suit the visitors just nicely, you'd think. So 3/4 of the way through this game. Gwelup Croatia 0, Floreat Athena 2. Own goal from Adam Field and Andrew Palmer's strike early in the second half, giving Athena a 2-goal cushion. And the results are looking really good for them elsewhere as well. Coburn City 0, ECU Joondalup 3 now at Dalmatinak Park. And Armidale 4, Sorrento 3 at Alfred Skeet Reserve. So as it stands, Floreat 2 points clear at the summit of the division. And barring a remarkable turn of events, you'd suspect that that's going to be how it stays. Gwelup may have something to say about that, though, as McKechnie looks up, was caught late. And it'll be Gallen that picks up the yellow card. Set piece for Gwelup. McCullough's ball, dangerous. And I'm not sure whose head that came off last. I think it was Govan who was in there, and that one flashed just wide of Saudaris' post. Saudaris looked very flat-footed there. The closest that home side have come in this second period. As Floreat turned to the bench for the first time this afternoon. Phil Arnold will make way. And on in his place is Noah Shamaki. First appearance of the second phase for Noah Shamaki, having played in all 11 of the first phase. Very important part of that fluid Floreat final third. Loves to hold the ball up, bring players into the game. Also, their level top scorer as well, with 5 goals this season. Part of the Sterling Lions in the early part of 2019, then scored plenty of goals at the Western Knights, and that gave Vasiljevic reason to give him another chance at NPL1U level. And Antovic Kovacevic as well, of course, and he's definitely repaid the faith as McManus clips in. Ball might just break to Mikecha here, tries to make a yard, deflected and into the side netting. Off the legs of Pitt Sasser, who got in the way of that. Gwelup know that it's go time now if they are to get their title hopes back up and running. Govan was arriving at the back post then. Lost his footing and slid into Dennis Gallen, I think, and the Gwelup defenders come off worse. Back to his feet now, I think. Govan was just leaping and trying to get a run and jump at the ball, and in the end just slipped on the surface. Here's Govan again, winning the header. Only as far as Palmer, and now Ambrosio. Evans clipped forward, back to Ambrosio. Time to look up, cross, Shamaki arriving, Harding's at the back post, and Pitt Sasser was there on the last line to clear away. Robert Harding eyeing up a third goal in 3 games. Wide open at the back post there, and luckily for Gwelup, Rocco Pitt Sasser was right place at the right time. Shamaki's cross cleared into McManus. Murray, Shamaki, turning. Cross shot was deflected behind for another corner. It looks as though Floreat have just seen off that little surge from the home team. Third goal this afternoon would surely wrap up the 3 points. Two hands up from Evans. Corners in swinging to the near post. Punched away by Campbell. Evans will get a second crack at this. Equally dangerous. And I think it was Ambrosio at the back post there who headed wide of the target. Unmarked. Once again was a Floreat attacker in the area. Gwelup do need to take risks if they are to get back into this one, but they still need to defend those set pieces as well. As Murray marauds forward, Harding finds his way into the area. Clip was looking for Shamaki. Govan was stepping in well. Evans forward again. Overhit for Harding, who still gives chase, and McManus can smartly shield out. Former Bayswater and Sterling midfielder Sean McManus. Now McKeche. He's been well marshalled by Gallen so far this afternoon, and on this occasion Shongo gave him a little bit of support. One of the best players on the pitch this afternoon for mine, Dennis Gallen. Very much relishes the opportunity of playing against the division's best. Floreat turn to the bench for the second time this afternoon. Rob Harding departs and Ludovic Boy will come on for a final quarter of an hour or so. 2015 NPL gold medal winner, Ludovic Boy. Former Perth Glory National Youth League player as well. Very much in the later stages of his career. As Boy looks up, Evans on the edge of the area will look for an option. Palmer's there. McManus keeps it alive. Palmer. Shimaki. Made an impact since coming on, has Noah Shimaki, but the cross was a little wild. Ten appearances off the bench for, 10 appearances in total for Ludo Boy this season. Most of them off the bench. Scored an important goal against Armidale in the past fortnight. Shimaki, one-on-one with Pitsata. Striking ball might yet break to Murray. It didn't quite do so. Shongo keeps it in play. Looks up, finds Murray's feet. Ball is played back to the full back. Gallen was under pressure from McKeche. Floreat looking to have this game under control at the moment and look the more likely team to add a third here as Ambrosio tried to tickle that one around the corner for the run of Shimaki, but that one skids off the surface. Boy. Charging down the left side. Stood up by John Stein. Still going though is Ludo Boy. Two former teammates. And Boy does really well. Pass just let him down at the end though. Gallen looks up. Evans. Chest down to Palmer. Now Shongo. Floreat looking very assured in possession. Now Gallen has to go up the line. Wasn't the worst looking ball, but Boy just misread that one slightly. Salinger, dangerous. Defending there as he looks back for Campbell, but Palmer was unable to intercept. Now Salinger looks up. Ball forward was wayward though for the run of Steins, and Gallen will happily let that one drift behind. Scores still remain the same elsewhere. 2-0 here, of course. Coburn 0, ECU Joondalup 3, and Armidale 4, Sorrento 3. Floreat 2 points clear at the top if results stay as they are. and hosting Coburn on the final day of the regular season. Possibly an opportunity for Athena to win the league in front of their home fans at ED Stadium. Still got a little bit of work to do, though, in the final 10 minutes or so. As Shamaki bustles his way down the left-hand side, pull back. Evans is arriving and driving, and I think that came off his teammate Ambrosio, broke nicely to Govan, and then Gwelup defender just gets that as far up the field as possible. Eventually it breaks to McManus. Driving ball, that's a very good pass from McManus to release. Mitchinson down the left, cross in, dangerous one. Gallon's there again. How many times have we said that this afternoon? Possession recycled, Salinger wants that right-hand side. Crosses a very deep one, McManus and Shongo. Two of the shortest players on the pitch, competing for the header there. That comes off Shongo's head, and Gwelup will reload again. Goal would really set up a grandstand finish here at the Croatian Sporting Complex, but Makala stands on the ball, and now Floreat, a 2-on-1 coming up the field here. Shamaki's pass was a little soft for Murray, who had to wait, and in the end Mitchinson was retreating and fouling the former Perth Glory youngster. So free kick after Mitchinson's yellow card challenge on Liam Murray. Only one man will be eyeing this one up. That's Dean Evans. We know what he can do from this range. Boy showing a little interest as well, but I'm fairly certain it'll be Evans to hit this. 5 in the wall for Gwelup. Ambrosio hanging on the edge of it. Evans' free kick. It's a stunner from Dean Evans, who finds the top corner and surely secures the points for Floreat this afternoon. It's been an excellent performance from the first phase winners of the competition. They lead 3-0 at Gwelup, and the first league title since 2007 is surely up for grabs next weekend. Gwelup 0, Floreat 3. A massive result in the penultimate game of this NPL WA men's season. Live on the Football West YouTube channel and Facebook pages this afternoon. They've looked a lot cleaner in possession than the hosts this afternoon. They've kept the ball slightly better. They've definitely had their rewards. One nicely constructed goal scored by Andrew Palmer. A little piece of luck early in the game. And then a simply superb free kick from Evans. Now Shamaki looking to dart his way down the left, and up a fourth for Floreat. Ball just got away from him. Forward from Campbell. Sinclair's header. Shongo's header. Sinclair with the second header. And now Palmer will look forward for the run of Shamaki again, who's really made an impact since coming off the bench. He'll get into the area. He'll want that left-hand side. Nearly emerged with it after taking Pitsata for a dance in the area. Murray. Ambrosio. Evans turns around the corner. Ball will beat Murray to touch. Final substitute here for the visitors. Nicholas Ambrosio makes way. Just while we wait for Campbell to get this goal kick underway once more. Still Armidale 4, Sorrento 3, and still Coburn 0, ECU 3. So the dying stages of this game currently stands with Floreat top of the league on 9 points. ECU Joondalup and Coburn City both on 7. Barring a dramatic turn of events here in the final 5 minutes or so of this round 15 of NPL1U men's fixtures this afternoon. Steins will try and latch onto the throw-in, which bypassed Mikeche and kind of sums up the host Dana Way. Just lost his footing. Steins as he tried to turn and strike left-footed. Seems as though Gwelup's league title hopes, though, have been extinguished with today's result. Still a top 4 cup place to play for next week, though. As we said before, they will host Armidale here next Saturday. All games on the final day kicking off at 3 p.m. Western Standard Time. And Floreat will host Coburn at ED Leiter Stadium. Another team who are in contention for the league title despite losing 3-0 at ECU as things stood when we last checked them. Can Gwelup pull one back here? The final 5 minutes. Sinclair's flick on. Murray did just enough to clear away. Gwelup giving him without a fight, and free kick conceded there by the visitors. No time to waste as McManus clips in. Header away was from Steele. Boy will complete the clearance. And then Murray will try and steal off Sampson. He did, but coming across there was young kid McGuigan, who snuck onto the field for Shubha Makala whilst I wasn't paying attention. Mikeche. Towed away by Steele. Scouter-Ferro tries to put the cross in. Evans half trying to keep it alive. Mikeche hooks around his body. Campbell dicing with danger at the back. Pass went through the legs of Shamaki. Now Govan goes upfield. Mikeche won the flick on nicely. Fester was reading the play well though. Salinger clears. Boy looks up. Shamaki wants his left side. Passes inside to Murray. Works his way onto that right foot. Recycling the possession here. Athena. Keep the ball and they see this game out. Sinclair. Govan's clearance charged down by Boy and really does sum up the intensity to which Athena have played with today. It's been a tremendous performance all round.
Get up, have a look. Where's your man? Goal side. Stay switched on, son. Yes, no, stay right.
Armidale 5, Sorrento 3. And still Coburn 0, ECU 3. Gwelup 0, Floreat 3 here, of course. Own goal, Andrew Palmer. And then Dean Evans. The 3 goal scorers on the afternoon for the visitors. Steins clips in. Sinclair's free in the area. Good save from Saldaris, who had to be alert to a tip over. I think that header from Hazani Sinclair may have been dropping under the bar. Saldaris took no chances nevertheless. Kieran McGuigan's corner. Steele with the header again. He's been very much involved in this second half. And now Andrew Palmer will look to launch Floreat into counter-attack. They've got 3 players ahead of him here. One of them's Ludovic Boy, who will dance into the area and strike. Blocked by Sampson. And away for a throw-in to the visitors. Coburn at home for Floreat, just to repeat. Armidale at home for Gwelup. Both teams won their respective games in the first phase against those opponents. Shamaki. Boy. Shamaki into the area. Wanted to cross on that right foot. Danced his way past. Instead, Boy and Govan slide in. It'll come to Evansall Drive, and that one sails wide of Campbell's upright. David Bruce has a look at his watch.
Nelson, do it early. Nelly, come on, we're on. Nelly, you're on. Come on.
Mikeche. Steele heads clear. To Boy. Now Palmer goes down under the challenge from Mikeche. And this will just suit Athena nicely. Fester's ball forward. Longened into the gloves of Campbell.
Elijah drop, Elijah drop, Elijah drop.
Seconds ticking down now. McManus looks up. Tries to pick out Scautaferro on that far side. Runs through to Saldaris. Another former Floreat player, Andrew Scautaferro. Very versatile one at that. Here he is on the ball again.
Closer, closer! Come on!
Crosses in. Low. Evans clears. Sampson. Now McGuigan. Cross cleared by Gallen, who's been tremendous, as we've said multiple times this afternoon. Shamaki. Palmer. Switch was looking for steal, but that'll run away from him. A couple of faint whistles from the visiting fans to my right. They've seen enough. No doubt go home very happy tonight with the way the game's panned out. Can Floreat out of fourth. Shamaki's cross fumbled by Campbell. Cleared by Govan. Palmer looks up. And possession turned over to Sean McManus. David Bruce looks at his watch. In their hands. Floreat Athena have got the NPL1U League title in their hands. A first honour potentially in the league since 2007. Is there for the taking next week at home in front of their fans against Coburn City. They win by 3-0 here at the Croatian Sporting Complex this afternoon against Gwelup, Croatia. First half own goal from Adam Field. Very unfortunate in the driving rain. Got the visitors underway. And then second strikes from Andrew Palmer. And then a tremendous free kick laid on from Dean Evans. Secured the win. Gwelup's title hopes in the league anyway have been extinguished. They're going to need to win next week if they are to force themselves into the postseason and the Top 4 Cup. But this is definitely Athena's day this afternoon. A massive win on the road. The first team to shut out Gwelup in 2020 with a 3-0 win that puts them on the cusp of first league title since 2007. Great to have your company this afternoon on the Football West YouTube channel and Facebook pages. My name's Tommy Dolman, and we'll see you next weekend for the final day of the season. Floreat, big winners here at Gwelup by 3-0.